think prior to that, obviously, I hadn't spoke to Rob or Ryan, and I'd looked from afar, like everybody, Hollywood, stars by Wrexham, but when I got the chance to speak to Rob and got an understanding of how genuine they were and why they bought the club and what the plans were, and how they were going to operate, it started to really appeal to me. And then I just looked at it, I thought, of course, it's always a gamble as a manager dropping into the National League. But I thought if I could get Wrexham going, one, what a story. But, it's kind of reawakening a sleeping giant almost, because the catchment area of Wrexham is the whole of the north of Wales. It's a club which is steeped in history and tradition. And yeah, they're the challenges you want in life and in football. And yeah, the more I thought about it, the more I thought, wow, what an opportunity.
Did you know what you were getting into in terms of the documentary, and how big of a role that was going to play in it? Because it's quite unique, I suppose.
Yeah, obviously, when I first came, the cameras were around, and it takes a bit of getting used to. But me and Steve Parkin, who's assistant manager, we just said, look, just going to be ourselves and just get on with the job because to make the documentary successful, the team needs to be doing well on the pitch, and so we've just got on with our job. Really built a relationship up with the producers of the show, give them great access, and it is very authentic what you see on the documentary, and I think they've told the story really well.
And in terms of how you come across, obviously we see your team talks, and there are times where there's lots of F-bombs and you're trying to fire the team up. Do you
Mm.
ever watch those back?
Some of them, yeah, it's amazing really because sometimes in the dressing room, to let the cameras into that kind of in a sanctum is quite rare, and I think you probably see it in the Premiership clubs and some of the documentaries, but it's controlled. It's more controlled. Where with us, it just is what it is. So of course, the language at times can be a bit more colourful than you'd probably like, but it's just that's the way it is, and yeah. But when people ask me about that, I say that that language is kind of just in the dressing room. Outside of that, it's not the norm.
Yeah, and what's your relationship like with Rob and Ryan, and how involved are they in terms of with you? Is it just, congratulating you when things go well? Do they ever recommend, hey, I've seen this guy, looks like a great signing? Like, yeah, what's the dynamic like?
Yeah, no, they're very involved. I mean, to give you an example, yesterday we're looking to sign a player and we're competing with some we've got a lot of competition to get the signature, and I spoke to Rob and Ryan about it, and they put a call into the player as well, explained the backstory and why we wanted them. They both come over, um, depending on work commitments, and when they do, they'll come down the training ground and have a bit of lunch with the lads, and they get involved. I think they love that because they're just kind of part of they're part of the team when they come over. They integrate with everybody, and lighten up the mood. And I think sometimes, towards the end of the season, which when Rob was here and the tension was building, you could sense it, because there's 4 or 5 games to go. Me and Rob had a chat about what we felt he could do. And I said, I think we just need to lighten the mood and let the lads realise how well they've done to this point, and let's go and embrace this last period of the season. And it was great. He kind of like, did that so well. And the lads needed to hear that because in football, you do feel the pressure at times, and there's an expectancy around us, and there's a huge spotlight on the club. And sometimes you just need to take that pressure valve away. And I think they've both been brilliant at that.
Yeah, and you've had the three consecutive promotions. Do you realistically think Wrexham can make the Premier League, in the not too distant future?
I mean, when obviously Rob or Ryan or speak about the club being a Premier League club, and I think quite often people say, "Oh, well, Wrexham are getting carried away with themselves," but we're not, because it is achievable and it has been done before, and not in the speed we're progressing. And we're not naive enough to think that it's just about buying players at the first team level, and it's about putting the structure in place in the football club behind the scenes to build a sustainable club for the future. And a lot of that work is going on behind the scenes with the academy, the new stand being built, developments in all areas of the club. So, we or they and the staff are putting a structure together to give us a great chance. And we know that the academy going forward is going to be crucial for us because we need to produce our own players. But as much as we're playing catch up at first team level, we've had to play catch up in the academy as well because we've only just been started it for 2 years and we're competing against established teams with category one academies. So yeah, it's achievable. And I think in life and football, you've got to aim high, and that's what we're going to try and do.
Yeah, I've just got a couple more. Can you remember the one New Zealand player that you've coached?
Tommy Smith.
Yeah, have you got any good stories of I guess he came in at a unique time because I don't think he ever took the field for Sunderland. Because he
Yeah,
came
I
in
mean,
after
I
Ferguson.
exchanged messages with Tommy this week actually. Um, yeah, Tommy was just a bit lucky because we signed him from the MLS, and he came over to Sunderland, and then COVID hit, so it was a bit of a shame because he was just getting himself up to speed really. But what a character, what a leader of men, and I touch base with Tommy, ask if he's played with players I'm looking at. I always ask his opinion on players because he's a great lad. And he's very well respected over here as a professional.
Yeah, so I take it then, while you're coming to Australia and New Zealand, you do keep an eye on potential players to scout and the opposition as well, will you?
Yeah, without doubt. I think before we play, Wellington will be treating it like a league game and doing our homework on them as a team and their individuals. And I think that's important in pre-season that, when it's a league game, I'm sure Wellington do look at the opposition, how they play, system, key players, and we'll be doing that again as the game approaches and get a good feel for the quality level of the team and individuals within that.